He was 65 years old, broke, and living on a meager Social Security check. Most people would have given up, accepting a quiet and humble retirement. But Harlan Sanders was not most people. What he did next would defy all expectations, building a global empire from a single, simple recipe. This is the crazy, true story of how a man who failed at nearly everything in life found unprecedented success in his golden years, creating the phenomenon we know as KFC. Before he was the iconic, white-suited Colonel, Harlan Sanders was just a boy from Henryville, Indiana, born in 1890. His early life was marked by hardship and responsibility. When his father passed away when he was just 5 years old, his mother had to take up work, leaving young Harlan to care for his younger siblings. It was during this time, out of sheer necessity, that he began to cook. He quickly learned to master basic home-style dishes, developing a passion for preparing wholesome, flavorful meals. This early exposure to the kitchen planted a seed that would, decades later, blossom in the most unexpected way. His childhood, however, was far from stable. By the time he was a teenager, Sanders had already left home and worked a series of odd jobs, showcasing a restless spirit that would define much of his life. He worked as a farmhand and then as a streetcar conductor. He even enlisted in the United States Army and served a short stint in Cuba. After his military service, he moved around, taking on whatever work he could find, never staying in one place for too long. His professional life was a long list of failures and firings. He worked for the railroad, first as a fireman stoking the steam engines, and then pursued a law degree through a correspondence course. For a brief period, he even practiced law in Little Rock, Arkansas. His legal career came to an abrupt end after a courtroom brawl with his own client, a testament to his fiery and often stubborn personality. After that, he tried his hand at selling insurance, but that didn't stick either. He launched a ferry boat company, which saw some success until a bridge was built across the same river, rendering his business obsolete. He even started a company that manufactured acetylene lamps, but the advent of electricity quickly made his product irrelevant. It seemed that every time Sanders found a foothold, the ground would shift beneath his feet. By his 40s, Harlan Sanders had a resume filled with dozens of jobs he had been fired from or had quit. He was a man adrift, constantly searching for his purpose but never quite finding it. His string of professional disappointments continued, painting a picture of a man who, by all conventional measures, was a failure. But within this chaotic journey was a brewing resilience, a refusal to be defeated by circumstance. The turning point came during the Great Depression. Sanders found himself in Corbin, Kentucky, running a Shell service station along a busy highway. He noticed that tired and hungry travelers often stopped for gas, but had few options for a decent meal. Seeing an opportunity, Sanders started serving food to his customers right out of his own small living quarters behind the station. He set up a single dining table and served dishes he had perfected since childhood, like country ham and flavorful pan-fried chicken. His reputation for delicious, hearty meals began to grow. The food was so popular that he soon moved across the street to a motel and restaurant that could seat 142 people. He named it Sanders Court and Cafe. It was here that he began to experiment with his chicken recipe. He was proud of his pan-fried chicken, but it took too long to prepare, especially for hungry travelers in a hurry. He tried deep frying, but he found that it often resulted in a dry and unevenly cooked product. Sanders was a perfectionist when it came to his food, and he knew there had to be a better way. The breakthrough came with the invention of the commercial pressure cooker. Sanders saw its potential immediately. He bought one and modified it, discovering that he could combine the principles of pressure cooking with deep frying. This innovative method allowed him to cook chicken in a fraction of the time while ensuring it remained juicy on the inside and crispy on the outside. This was the birth of his famous original recipe chicken. He spent years perfecting the blend of 11 herbs and spices that gave his chicken its unique and unforgettable flavor. This secret recipe, which he guarded fiercely, became the cornerstone of his culinary identity. His restaurant gained local fame, and in 1935, Governor Ruby Laffoon was so impressed with his contribution to the state's cuisine that he bestowed upon him the honorary title of Kentucky Colonel. From that day forward, Harlan Sanders became Colonel Sanders. He embraced the persona, growing his iconic goatee and eventually adopting the white suit and string tie that would become his trademark. For years, Sanders' Court and Cafe thrived, becoming a beloved landmark for travelers. But fate, as it often did in Sanders' life, had another cruel twist in store. In the 1950s, the government announced plans to build a new interstate highway, I-75, which would bypass the town of Corbin completely. The flow of hungry travelers that had been the lifeblood of his business would soon vanish. Overnight, Sanders saw his life's work becoming worthless. The new highway was built, and just as he feared, his customers disappeared. At 65 years old, he was forced to sell his business at a loss. After paying off his debts, he was left with almost nothing but his monthly Social Security check of just over $100. He was, for all intents and purposes, broke. Many would have retired in defeat, but Colonel Sanders was not built that way. He still had his unshakable belief in his chicken. He thought, if people couldn't come to his chicken, he would take his chicken to them. With a car full of pressure cookers and his secret blend of herbs and spices, the 65-year-old colonel hit the road. He began driving across the country, visiting restaurants and offering to cook his chicken for the owners and their staff. His pitch was simple: if they liked his chicken, he would license them his recipe. In return, he would receive a small payment, just a nickel, for every piece of chicken they sold. It was a grueling and often humiliating process. He slept in his car to save money and faced rejection after rejection. Restaurant owners were skeptical of this eccentric old man in a white suit. Many laughed him out of their establishments. He reportedly heard over 1,000 no's before he got his first yes. That first yes came from Pete Harmon, a restaurant owner in Salt Lake City, Utah. Harmon agreed to add the Colonel's chicken to his menu, and it became an instant sensation. It was Harmon who coined the name Kentucky Fried Chicken and came up with the famous bucket packaging. With his first franchisee on board, the Colonel's persistence began to pay off. He continued his travels, and slowly but surely, more restaurant owners signed on. The franchise model was born, and the KFC empire began to take shape. Within just a few years, what started as a desperate idea from a broke retiree had exploded into a nationwide phenomenon. By 1963, there were over 600 KFC locations across the United States and Canada, making it the largest fast food operation in the country. The Colonel had become a living legend, his face and story inseparable from his brand. He was a tireless promoter, traveling hundreds of thousands of miles a year to visit franchises and appear in commercials. He was fiercely protective of his recipe and the quality of the food, often making surprise visits to restaurants to ensure his standards were being met. If the gravy wasn't right, he was known to throw it on the floor in disgust, declaring it slop. In 1964, at the age of 74, Colonel Sanders sold the American part of his company to a group of investors for $2 million, which is equivalent to over $19 million today. He also secured a lifetime salary and a role as the company's brand ambassador. He sold the company because he recognized it had grown too large for one person to manage. Yet, he remained the face of KFC, his image forever linked to the taste of his famous chicken. The story of Colonel Sanders is more than just the story of a fast food chain. It's a powerful lesson in resilience, perseverance, and the belief that it's never too late to start something new. He faced failure at every turn, from his youth well into his senior years. But he never allowed his circumstances to define him. At an age when most people's careers are over, his was just beginning. He transformed a life of hardship and disappointment into one of the most remarkable success stories of all time, proving that passion and persistence can triumph over any obstacle. Did you find this story as incredible as we did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And for more amazing stories about the people and events that shaped our world, make sure to subscribe to Facts Repo.